Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, we had a technical issue there. Zoom unexpectedly crashed on us, so I do apologise for that. Anyway, welcome everybody. There was clearly some appetite for this particular webinar. We've had just under 300 of you sign up for this webinar, so thank you very much for your support. As ever, this is the latest in a very long list of free webinars we've been putting on since we started, well, gosh, 3 years ago now. We've been doing these webinars, and we're very pleased that they've become very popular. As always, the slides will be shared with you. I think that will probably happen right about tomorrow. So this webinar is being presented by myself. I was heavily involved in creating the survey, so it only felt natural for me to present the results. So let's go on to our contents, the agenda, etc. So I'm going to kick off with an introduction. I will cover which are the most popular systems out there. We'll talk about how firms rate their software supplier for quality, for price, value for money, and after-sale service. And we also cover a few of the additional comments before announcing a couple of winners. So why did we do this survey? Well, as a management consultancy, we're always being asked to recommend or perhaps signpost good case management software providers. And of course, you hear comments and complaints about certain systems, but of course, the higher number of users that a software supplier has, the more likely that we're going to hear comments and complaints. So we wanted to better understand who may be good by asking law firms about their experiences. We had a total of 667 responses, of which we used 427 because some of those responses we didn't think were genuine, so we filtered some of the responses out. Our aim was to get as many people to complete the questionnaire as possible, so we kept the survey relatively short by only asking 5 questions. We've taken what we think is an independent approach. There are other surveys out there, most notably the ILFM survey, which is a really good survey, and they're particularly looking at the quality of the software for accounts rules users, so legal cashiers, etc. Previously, the Law Society used to do a major survey, but they stopped doing that survey in 2010. There were comments about the independence of the survey, given that software suppliers had to pay to be included in that survey. I should point out that there's no payments whatsoever in relation to this survey, and as a principle, DG Legal doesn't receive commission from software firms, so we think we are independent on this. And it is important to note that the scores that you're going to see are based solely on completed questionnaires. A couple of caveats. They must not be read as a recommendation by DG Legal, nor should it imply that certain firms are better than others. It is simply based on responses. Based on the responses we've received, we believe that the firms that have answered the survey tend to be high street type firms, varying in size from small to medium. And I should say that there were 2 major surprises which came out from the survey, which I will cover. So the first surprise was about how many different providers were mentioned. After years of market consolidation, I was expecting around 15 different providers. In fact, there were over 60 different providers named. And I should say and emphasize that some of these providers weren't actually recognized law case management systems, but other systems such as team working software. Now let's have a look at how many some of the larger providers out there. You can see that the most popular provider in our survey was Leap, and that's really of no surprise. given their marketing strategy. They tend to be very visible in conferences, etc. And they have become, I would say, the most dominant provider for high street type firms. You can see there we've got Partner for Windows, and then Clio, and then Advice Pro. WorkTile. Now we've kept WorkTile in, but WorkTile is a tool primarily for collaboration. So it's like a team-based type software. Now I'm not familiar with WorkTile, so I cannot rule it out in relation to case management software. Perhaps it is able to be used in some way, shape or form for case management, so we're leaving it in, but it isn't really recognized as a case management provider for law firms. So let's move on to how firms rate their software supplier for quality. Now we had a bit of a dilemma here over whether to impose a minimum number of responses. We decided that what we would do is to have two results. One for those firms where we had received at least 10 responses, and another which included less than 10 responses. So let's have a look at the overall one. So this includes everybody, including those with less than 10 responses. And we can see that LawSyst got a perfect score. So they had just a little under 10 responses, but they got 10 out of 10 for quality from each of the surveys that were completed. Zoho is CRM software, so I'm not sure whether that can be used for case management. LexisNexis do have a practice. A software solution, as do Practice Panther, and I think we can disregard Westlaw because that's just an online legal resource. Let's have a look at those where we rule out everybody under 10 responses. So these are the larger providers, and we can see we've got Clio some way on top here with a score of 7.8. I think we can probably disregard Asana and WorkTile. And then we've got Advice Pro followed by Leap. Moving on to how firms rate their software supplier for price. Again, we have LawSyst on top. Each of their customers have given them a 10 out of 10. Which is quite a surprise to get such a very good score. And then we have Keylaw, which is quite popular with crime law firms, particularly in the southwest of England. And we can also see we have CasePacer. We just look at the larger providers. Again, Clio have got first spot, followed by Advice Pro, and then Law Fusion. If you've not heard of Advice Pro is a significant player in the legal aid and not-for-profit sector. Okay, moving on to how firms rate their software supplier for value for money. Once again, LawSyst get a perfect score. They're kind of reminding me of Torval and Dean at the Olympics, doing remarkably well. And then we have LexisNexis and Practice Panther. If we just look at the firms with more than 10 responses, once again, Clio have finished first, followed by Advice Pro and then Leap. And finally, before we look at some comments, how firms rate their supplier for after-sales service. So once again, we have LawSyst on top with all but one firm giving them 10 out of 10, followed by Practice Panther, CasePacer, LexisNexis, and Keylaw. So they're very, very good scores. We do hear a lot of comments about after-sales service. So congratulations to those 5 firms with very good scores. If we just look at the the providers with more than 10 responses. Once again, Clio have triumphed, with Advice Pro not far behind. If we were to compare the providers or some of the more popular providers, we have some charts there, again showing Lawsist on top, followed by Practice, Panther, and then Case Pacer. More than 10 responses only, we have Clio, followed by Advice Pro, Worktile, Asana, Salesforce, Leap, and then Partner for Windows. We got a huge amount of additional comments. So we'll just select some of those additional comments, starting off with the good ones. We had some positive comments about Insight, and I should probably point out that Insight may well have been noted in this survey had they not received quite a small number of responses. They have won the ILFM award a few years in a row, and those that did respond praised Insight. So you can see one comment there: being a very small firm, we only require a limited number of processes, and this system provides us with that flexibility. Clio is easy to use, captures the information needed, launches new features, and has good after-sales support. One firm noted about Lawsist. They said that we are a criminal defense firm, and Lawsist helped us a lot in customizing their system to our needs. All the legal aid agency billing features are in place, and the system itself is super fast and very reasonably priced. We cannot ask for more. And that's just one of a number of very positive comments about Lawsist. Moving on to the bad and the ugly, this is where we're not going to name the software providers. First comment: customer care and service are poor. Response time to problems is poor. Another person commented it has a lot of bells and whistles, but most are not used. Support levels are often poor, although some simple queries are sorted promptly. More complex issues are left alone. And then these were some of the stronger comments. I mean, we could have had a few slides just coming, just including some of the really extreme comments. So one person said that this is utter rubbish, detrimental to running a business. Somebody else said, avoid at all costs. It is the worst written software I've ever had the misfortune to be involved with. The company are amateur at best, negligent at worst. And another person said, the system is just one glitch after another, and the customer support is beyond a joke. So some strong feelings there. Just a couple of other things. I don't know if there are any questions. Let me just have a look at the Q&A and the chat. One person said they can't read the slides. Well, you're going to get a copy of the slides, so hopefully that should be fine. Just going to stop the sharing, so I just focus on any other questions. All right. Will we get a certificate for this webinar or not? There's a misconception that you have to have certificates. That may have been the case up to the year 2016 when CPD was abolished. You no longer need to get certificates. One person has said it is important to name these providers with negative feedback. That will help us to avoid them in the future. Well, yeah, that's a good question and a good comment, but I'm not sure we would really want to put ourselves in that position. You know, that could attract kind of some adverse correspondence and possibly litigation. So I think it's really for you to make that choice. I would also just say, as a matter of good practice, it's a good idea for you to of course, have demonstrations, but please don't be led by the quality of the sales pitch. Okay, what's important is the user experience. You may well be getting, as one provider commented, you may well be getting a huge amount of features that you just don't need. And I'd probably also try and speak to other users of any software that's been showed to you. Okay, so we've effectively got two winners then. So we've got LawSyst and Clio, and I'm very pleased that we have got David Wheeler from LawSyst with us, and we can see him now. David, huge congratulations. I thought the feedback was very good, and I was wondering whether somehow someone had tricked us and these scores were fake and these comments were fake. But we double checked, they really weren't. They were all genuine comments. And we looked at your Google reviews as well, just to see if they matched. And you've had several Google reviews, all of which are 5-star. So once again, congratulations for that. I don't want to use this as an opportunity as a sales pitch, but perhaps what I would like to hear from you, David, is how many years have you been trading, and who is your target market?
Okay. Nav and I, Nav's the technical guy. I think he's here as well, and he deserves most of this. We got together, started working 20 years ago together, which is daunting. We weren't in the legal market then. We were in financial services systems, which was web-based. Legal market wasn't web-based then. After the crash of 2008, we had to start looking around, and it took a long time. But one of our clients, web clients, happened to be a solicitor 7 years ago, and we learned from there, and that's grown. Our target market was literally, small solicitors and word of mouth and grew. And typically we're about 40 users size of firm. However, one recently is 200 users with a very dynamic, they're in a very specialist area. So that's interesting. If there is a key to our success, and those figures are excellent, but because Nav and I have worked together so long, I think I know what he's doing, and they do what we say, and we don't sell what we haven't got. And it is a key phrase. It's say what we do, which is my job as sales, and Nav is do what we said. So we deliver what it is, and we are flexible at making, always listening to our customers and building what they want with some skilled people.
Okay, thanks very much. Now, I'm just going to do two last things before we finish. In a few moments' time, we're going to do the price draw, because we promised in the publicity that we would give out 3 sets of £50 Amazon vouchers. I'm just having a look at the Q&A in case anything else has come in. Right, one question: are these comments about the same product? The answer is no. Next question. I'm going to go to the next one. How easy is it to move provider, and what to look out for? That's a really good question. It really depends on how bloody-minded the software provider is, the one that you're leaving. I think, although I could be corrected on this, I think the majority of software providers, either the one you're leaving or the one you're joining, will charge you an additional fee to export the data, move the data across. We don't, although we don't provide any case management software, we do provide compliance software. We call it Compliance Caddy. And if ever anybody wants to leave, they can do so very easily by clicking the export data button on our software, because we don't think it's particularly nice to charge thousands and thousands for data export. So that's perhaps one of the questions you should ask a provider before you make a decision. Next question: if our CMS does not feature, does this mean too few replies to the survey? Well, I would encourage that person to, it's obviously from a software vendor. I'm quite happy to discuss the data we've received to any software vendors. So if you want to get in touch with me, Andrew, afterwards, quite happy to have a look at that. It probably is too few replies to the survey, but we can have a look at that. Okay. Someone has backed up my view of agreeing to name the positives and not the negatives. I'm sure most of you being lawyers will understand that. Right, let's finish off then with the draw. Andrew, just before we press the start button, I asked you to come up with 3 numbers between 1 and 500, and you picked 21 was your first pick. So the first Amazon gift voucher goes to Ali Mealing from Bishop & Co. Congratulations, Ali. The second one you picked was number 47, which is Ron Davison from Gamlins. And then you picked 301, which is, I think it's De La Cia. I don't know which firm Dale is from, but I will get in touch. Okay, right. Well, we enjoyed doing that survey. I did say there was 2 surprises, and I didn't really think I mentioned what the second surprise was. The second surprise was really lawcist. I have to say that those scores were quite a surprise, but congratulations once again. You've done extraordinarily well, and who knows, we may do this again next year and see if anything's changed in 12 months' time. Okay, thank you all for joining, and we'll see you again with our next webinar. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you.